For so many people living with diabetes, the advice has always felt like a life sentence of just restriction. But what if the fundamental rules we've all been taught were just wrong? Today, we're diving into a whole new guide that doesn't just help you manage diabetes, it's designed to help you master it by going after the real root cause.
Does it sound familiar? Yeah, it's that standard, and let's be honest, pretty frustrating advice that people have been hearing for decades. It's this message of limitation and just resignation, basically telling you that a slow decline is your only path forward. And right here, this is the question that changes absolutely everything. What if the entire foundation of traditional diabetes advice has been focused on a symptom and not the actual underlying problem? Let's dig into that.
So to really understand where we're going, we first have to get why the old playbook so often falls short when it comes to long-term health. And trust me, this is a really crucial first step.
Okay, here's the core difference in a nutshell. The old logic says, hey, carbs raise your blood sugar, so stop eating carbs. Seems pretty simple, right? But the new science says, hold on. Let's fix the reason your body can't handle those carbs in the first place by actually reversing what's called insulin resistance.
Right, so if carbs aren't the main villain of the story, then what is? This is where the science gets really, really cool. Let's take a look at the mechanism that's truly at play inside our own cells.
The term is insulin resistance, and it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. Your cells are literally resisting insulin's message. But why? Well, the surprising reason is often a buildup of these tiny fat particles right inside your muscle cells. They're effectively blocking the path, so the sugar can't get in.
Think of it like this. It's a great analogy. Your cell is a door with a lock. Insulin is the key that's supposed to open that door and let glucose in for energy. But when you have insulin resistance, excess fat from your diet acts like chewing gum that someone has jammed into the keyhole. The insulin key just can't get in, so the sugar ends up stuck outside, floating around in your bloodstream.
And this right here just brilliantly illustrates the entire shift in thinking. High blood sugar after you eat carbs, that's the symptom. It's what we see, it's what we measure. But the insulin resistance, the gum in the lock, that's the root cause. The new approach isn't about throwing away the key, it's about cleaning out the gum.
Okay, so we've identified the real problem. Now let's get to the good stuff, the solution. This is the actionable playbook, the new strategy that's designed to reverse that root cause.
So instead of all this complex carb counting, this method uses a really simple traffic light system. Green light foods, we're talking fruits, vegetables, beans, whole grains, these are the foods you eat tons of. Yellow light foods, things like avocados, nuts, seeds, you eat those in moderation. And the red light foods, animal products, oils, processed junk, those are the ones you want to avoid or at least seriously minimize.
I know what you're thinking. This is probably the #1 biggest question people have when they hear about this. I mean, we've been taught for so long to be afraid of fruit. Is it really okay?
And the answer is a huge, resounding yes. When you focus on lowering the dietary fat that's gumming up the lock, that keyhole becomes clear again, and then your body can become incredibly efficient at using its insulin key to process all that natural, wonderful energy from whole foods like fruit.
Now, beyond what you eat, there are 2 other really powerful tools in this playbook. First is intermittent fasting, which basically gives your system a rest and helps your body burn through stored fuel. And second is exercise, especially things like a walk after a meal or some resistance training, which acts like a vacuum cleaner, just sucking that extra glucose right out of your blood.
And here's the thing, this approach isn't just about diet and exercise. We're in 2026, and technology has become an incredible ally, taking a lot of the guesswork out of managing all of this day to day. Let's look at 3 total game changers. First up, you've got combined continuous glucose and ketone monitors, or CGMs/CKMs. These give you a 24/7 picture of not just your blood sugar, but also how well your body is burning fat for fuel. Second, you have these smart AI platforms that analyze all that data and basically act like a personal coach right on your phone. And third, for those who still need it, there are newer once-weekly insulins that can just dramatically reduce the daily burden of injections.
Okay, this all sounds really great in theory, but does it actually work in the real world? Let's look at the numbers, at the actual results from a pilot study of people who followed this method long-term.
Get this, an incredible 93.7% of the people in the study saw a positive change in their HbA1c levels, and that's the key marker of your average blood sugar over 3 months. This wasn't some tiny little tweak. It was a measurable, significant improvement for almost everyone.
And it wasn't just about blood sugar. Alongside those improvements, 78.4% of them reported significant weight loss. This just goes to show you that the approach isn't just targeting one little metric, it's improving your overall metabolic health.
And maybe the most powerful stat of all, over half, 52.4% of participants, were actually able to decrease their use of medication. They were controlling their condition through lifestyle, becoming less dependent on prescriptions. That's huge.
And really, this is the ultimate takeaway, isn't it? It's about shifting your mindset from feeling like a victim of a diagnosis to becoming the architect of your own health. It puts the power and the tools right back into your hands.
So, where do you begin? Look, it doesn't have to be some radical overnight overhaul. The advice is so simple. Just start with one swap. Just exchange one red light meal for a green light one today. That single, small step, that's the beginning of building a whole new biological reality for yourself.